Hi, and welcome to JKC Mobile Notaries YouTube channel. I'm so happy that you're here today. We've got our first NBB Innovator interview. What is an NBB Innovator? Notary Business Builders has a feature where they feature notaries who are part of NBB who have created products outside and sometimes inside the notary world. I am interviewing all the innovators who want to be interviewed. So today we're starting with Jeff Clark. Are you ready? I'm ready. Let's go. Hi, everybody. This is Jen Cooper at JKC Mobile Notary, and welcome back to my channel. Today, we've got a really cool interview, and this is the beginning of an interview series of the NBB Innovator Spotlights. Spotlight Innovators, Innovator Spotlights. I think that's what we're calling it. But these are members of NBB, Notary Business Builders, who are doing things sometimes outside of the notary spectrum that are special. So today's guest is Jeff Clark, and I'm really excited for you guys to get to meet him. Jeff, thank you so much for agreeing to sit down and letting me pummel you with questions.
Thank you, Jennifer. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Well, let's just kind of get into it if you don't mind.
Yep.
I've interviewed a number of people and I've interviewed many notaries, and my favorite way to start these conversations is to start with the beginning. So, Jeff, can you tell us what was the beginning or the journey to becoming a notary for you?
Yeah, sure. So I was employed as a technician for point of sale computer systems, and my boss stopped paying me. So I was had to find something to do, and it wasn't notary work. Actually, I had a friend that was a real estate agent. She said, "You should get into real estate." I'm like, "Okay." So I was working on that, and while I was studying for that, I said maybe I should be a notary. And so I went to the class, I looked it up, and actually I became a notary a year after. I had looked into it a year before, but the class fizzled out. It didn't happen or something. So I picked it up again, took a class, and while I was in that class, the instructor said you should be a loan signing agent. And I'm like, I at the time it was $10 per signature for the notarization. I'm like, I was just thinking I'm gonna get $10 here or there. And she's like, hey, you could be a loan signing agent. I'm like, oh, okay. So then I took that class, and then it went on from there. So that was back in 2016
Oh,
when I
wow.
started that
That's true.
journey. And
Yeah.
actually, what was interesting is my commission and my real estate license ended on the exact same day and year.
Wow.
So I didn't renew my license this year,
You didn't?
not for my real estate license, but yeah, that's not for me. But it was fun. I did that. I had the license for 8 years, and I did a few
Wow.
transactions, but it's not for everybody.
Yeah. And you know what? Not every career is for everybody. So I'm
Yeah.
glad you found what worked for you. Well, at what point in that 8 years did you discover fingerprinting?
So that's interesting. So because of the situation I was in, I wasn't making money. When I became when I had to be fingerprinted the first time I was like, oh, I should look into that. But I didn't really look into it. It came to my mind. I'm like, oh, I should just look into that. But then a couple years later, I was at the Notary Symposium, and uh, Laura Buer
Mhm.
had Joyce Gonzalez on there speaking at one of her symposiums about fingerprinting, and that's
Oh,
when she kind of opened up the possibility of what you could do, how to get started, and so forth. And if I were smart, she said, "Hey, I'll fingerprint you, you get the process going," and she was just charging the government fee to get going. I'm like, but I was an idiot. I'm like, I'll just go somewhere. I actually paid more money to do that, but that's okay. It's okay. I got going.
but
So
you got there
that's
eventually.
how I
Yeah.
kind of yeah, that's how I got into fingerprinting. And then it- what's interesting is that so she's talked about getting, you have to be certified here in California. So
Mhm.
I went through that process, and then I wanted to do live scan, but I was broke. I mean,
Yeah.
I had just I think I'd been 3 years in as notary, but still it's single single parent, single income household,
Yeah.
everything and you have to come up with a big chunk of money.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you
it
did.
took me a while to save that money to get going. And I was actually driving Uber to
Mm.
make that
Make
happen.
up the difference. Yeah. And
Yeah.
to get to the
So
point where you could purchase the stuff.
yeah.
So the next question was, when did live scan become something you were interested in? But I think it sounds like you were interested in it pretty quickly after you was it all part of the same training at the symposium?
Yeah,
Fingerprint
well,
and live
yeah,
scan?
it was I was interested. Yeah, so after the symposium, which was in November, I think it was November 2018,
Mm-hmm.
I think I went like started that process to be certified in December
Oh,
2018 and then submitted my information to the DOJ like in January of 2018.
wow.
And I got approved to be a live scan service provider probably I want to say it was either March or April. It was
Gotcha.
about of 2019. And they actually sent me a letter say, hey, you better get your equipment and get going or else, because you only have 6 months from the approval to get going. And
Oh, I didn't know that before you
yeah, and
get
so I
started.
was like scrambling to get the
Oh
money together
man.
to get that equipment. So I ran it up to like a month before it was an expire and but I got it done. So yeah.
We are grab pull from the boots kind of people when we're business owners and entrepreneurs. Not every path is straight and not every path is easy, and I love hearing how that came about for you. But your determination is what made that happen, Jeff, right? Because you could have just, I'll give you an example. 4 times I submitted the paperwork just to be certified fingerprint roller. 4 times I got the application. 4 times I missed the deadline to get my notarization, not my notarization, my fingerprints done to submit the background check. 4 times because I just got up to that deadline, and I did. I am finally certified to do fingerprint rolling. Thank you. That happened at the very end of last year. I want to tell, so the entire, so I'm 3.5 years into my commission. I started that process 6 months into my commission. So, and I just kept dropping the ball. So it's quite inspiring to hear how you kind of push through that to get it done. So, no, we didn't talk about what your innovation is for the innovator spotlight. So before I ask the next question, can you talk about what you're doing with what you've learned from LiveScan?
Yeah, so I created a class. Well, originally I created a class and I was teaching online Zoom classes for ink fingerprinting. And I've just moved that to a platform so it's on demand now. So I don't have to be live all the
Show
time.
up all the time. I didn't.
But it's still live because I do offer live Q&A every month
Oh,
for the
nice.
for the people so they can if there's something that I missed or it wasn't clear enough or whatever, they can come to that Zoom and ask the questions and get clarity. So I
Awesome.
I I, I think it's always good to do stuff. I've done in person. In person is always better than Zoom,
Yeah.
and Zoom is always better or live Zoom is always better than a recording.
Yeah.
So
Well, when I've asked others who transitioned from doing and then teaching, most of them have similar stories. So what was it that took you from being a live scan operator to teaching people how to become fingerprinter, ink fingerprinting, and then live scan?
yeah, so it wasn't my goal to teach. What happened was I was on Clubhouse and I talk about fingerprinting a lot on there and
Mhm.
there was just notaries coming in chat and we're just shooting the breeze about fingerprinting, the challenges and things and Jim Allen was on there and he said, "Hey, you should teach this. You should have a class on this." So I'm like, "Okay, I'll see what I can do." So
Yeah.
I put a class together. I think that was 2 years ago. Uh, just did a Zoom class and threw it out there. And I think the first class I had about 30 people that
That's
showed up.
pretty good for a live Zoom class.
Yeah.
That's pretty
And
good. Funny enough, Jim Allen's class started out of Clubhouse too.
I know. It was right around the same time where he did his like right before he told me I should do it
That's
because he was
funny.
starting, I think he was doing some one-on-one training
Yeah.
more than classes, but yeah.
I actually think that he didn't start doing one-on-one training until, I mean, in the last 2 years. I think that he probably suggested this to you before he even got started. But
I don't know. I
I
don't
don't know
remember,
either, but I think
but he was inspirational. That's all that you need to know. It doesn't matter who started
it
first.
doesn't matter. You're right. It doesn't matter. But I love that you guys both of you have great things that you're teaching people. Google My Business that Jim does is important, and this is a great avenue for notaries to branch out into. So I just find it very interesting that you both started this out of Clubhouse conversations. I think that's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Well, you already talked about, you still do teach in-person classes?
I do when there's enough people. So I do so what I've done the last couple of classes is if there's a notary family event, I've tacked that into before or after
Hmm.
the event so that if anybody had interest, if I'm there, I'm there, I can do it.
Yeah.
But normally, I need to get at least 10 people to do an in-person class, and trying to get that amount of people that are serious, it could be a challenge.
I know that
So,
firsthand. Yes, I know that firsthand. Well, you just brought it up, but I also wanted to talk about another innovative thing you've done for your notary community, and that is the Notary Family. So, what is the Notary Family?
so the Notary Family is a group of professional notaries that we come together and collaborate, support, do all the things that you need to do as to help each other's businesses grow. We sit there, network, and uh, our group. So the Notary Family, we have Zoom meetings every month.
Mhm.
Every other month, we have a speaker that we bring in that might be in the notary community or not, depending on
Mhm.
what the subject is, and they come and share their knowledge. The Notary Family is not a training group, so
It's a
we bring
networking
people.
group.
Yeah, it's a networking group.
Yeah.
So we bring people in that are trainers, and they can share their program or whatever. And if the members resonate with that trainer, they can go off and get training
Yeah.
with them. And that's, we kind of just give the opportunity for them to, see what's out there, I guess.
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha. Well, who's welcome to join the Notary Family?
everybody that's a notary. So you have to be a notary to be in the Notary Family,
That's the only
obviously.
requirement.
That's the only requirement. You have to be an active notary, and the rest is, you can be anywhere in the country. We do have, we're starting chapters, and we have a
Oh.
chapter down in Southern California now that meets every quarter. There's a
Mm-hmm.
meeting down there in Long Beach area. And so that's going along, and we're trying to get some edit. We were just in Arizona starting to try
Yeah.
and get a chapter going there. And then up here in Northern California in the Sacramento area, we're trying to get a chapter going there as well.
Gotcha.
So just various areas. I mean, obviously anybody can start a chapter, but we do have one requirement. You have to be a Notary Family member to
To
be
start a
to be
chapter
a
of the Notary
chapter
Family.
lead. So as
Gotcha.
we can, but
That's
yeah.
that's amazing. I think it's a pretty awesome thing that you're doing. So so you said that the LA group meets every quarter. I know you guys have meetups often. Do you try to do them on a regular basis?
So we have, so I said every other month we have speakers. Every other month we have networking. So we do networking Zoom every other month
Okay.
uh, for our regular members. So obviously we're not in person. We do try and do in-person stuff for the local people to us in
Mhm.
the Bay Area, for example.
Mhm.
But it's kind of like, it's not organized. It's
Gotcha.
like, hey, let's get together type thing.
Yeah, we got some space in the calendar kind of thing. It's,
Yeah, exactly.
it's
And
fun. You're not
some
trying to.
people show up, sometimes they
Yeah,
don't, so
I've shown up to one of those events. I think that's pretty. It's just a really cool thing what you're doing.
yeah, we're trying, we try and organize events, and we do put them on our website calendar so you can go check those out and
Yeah.
see when they're happening. There are, I don't know, it takes a lot of effort and time to plan these things. And we actually, this year, it's April.
Mm-hmm.
Um, our fourth event is April 20th. So
Fourth of
we've
this
done
year.
three events already this year.
Wow,
So
that's a lot, Jeff.
yeah, and then we have one, we're taking a little break in May, and then we May and June, and then we have one in July down in Long Beach. That's gonna be one of our huge events that we're going to be inviting attorneys, paralegals, and LDAs
Wonderful.
to network with notaries, and that's gonna be an exciting event. So.
Yeah, that will be an exciting event. Um, get this. There's a dad. Is there? I want to say this right. Does the Notary Family have like some sort of database that people can sign up to be on?
Yeah, so okay, yeah, so you don't need to be a member to be in the Notary Family database. So that's just, you have to be a notary, you have to have an active commission to be in there, because if you expire, your commission expires, you will fall out of the database. But
Gotcha.
you can put your information in there, and we try and go there. If we need somebody outside our area or looking for a notary, we go to our database and look for
First.
people that are in
Yeah.
there. Obviously, if you're a member, we try and give members
Priority. Yeah,
priority.
absolutely.
But if you're not a member and you're in the database, you could still receive a call from us. And there's been a few notaries that we've called over the years to do some, notary work or apostille work or
That's
whatever's
awesome.
needed. So,
How much is the membership fee for a Notary Family member?
okay, so we changed that this year, so it's
Oh,
totally
so
different.
many new things.
So many, yeah, we have a lot of new things. So so we have different levels. So since we're doing a lot of events, we kind of split it up. So our first level, our lowest level is just Zoom membership, which means that you get access to our Zoom meetings, access to our resource page on the website for members. And then we have another level. So that's $100 for the year.
Okay.
And then the second level is Zoom meetings, or sorry, it's events only. So if you want
Oh,
to come to our events only, and that's up to 4 events throughout the year,
mm-hmm.
that's
Or April.
$150. Yeah. Yeah. Well, we've already done 4, or we're going to do 4, but
Yeah.
yeah. So if you had that membership, then you wouldn't have to pay for any of those events. They're
And
all
what's that fee for that membership, the second
That's
level?
$150 for the year.
$150 for the year.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the full membership with Zoom and all
And
the
everything.
events,
Yeah.
it's $225 for the year.
Okay. And I'll definitely put a link in the description for people to check that out. Now you started this group with somebody else, right?
Yeah, Maria Coburn, she's the co-founder.
And how did you guys meet?
So we, it's kind of interesting. We met through Bill's Sign and Thrive course.
Oh, okay. I thought
And
you guys met in NBB, but you met before that.
oh yeah, well, the Notary family's older than NBB. Yeah,
Wow.
we actually started in the Notary family before the NBB became the
Wow, I
NBB.
didn't even know that. I didn't even know
Yes.
that, Jeff. That's cool.
Yeah, so Sign and Thrive, we were in there, and actually we crossed paths at Laura's Notary Symposium. We never met each other there, but we realized after, oh yeah, we were
Yeah.
there, and I was there,
Yeah.
like, well, why? Okay, we didn't meet, but there was 100 people, so it's
Yeah.
hard to meet 100 different people.
Yeah,
So
it is.
yeah, so that's how we met. And she called me. She called me first. She wanted to get into fingerprinting, I think, and
Mhm.
I helped her do that. And then she called one time and said, "Hey, let's do something together." I said, "Well, what do you want to do?" Because I'm like, that's a broad thing. It's like we should
Yeah.
do something together. Okay, what does that mean? I mean, we're not going to build cars or something. It's so anyway. So I said, why don't we just come up with a networking group, and we can help each other out and that's what and we're trying to develop this. Each year we're trying to add something or modify things to try and make it better for the notary community.
Yeah.
We're with networking, in person is important, and that's what we're trying to focus on this year.
Yeah.
But we also know that it has to be on a local level, because that's where things happen. You're not going to call generally a notary, 2 or 3 hours from you
No, you're not.
for help. You're
Yeah.
going to call your neighbor, your neighbor notary down the road, and you're going to say, "Hey, I can't do this signing. Can you do this for
Yep.
me?" And that's
Yeah.
what we're
That's the
trying to
that's the
build.
that's the purpose of a local network. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that you guys will build that. I think it's a really exciting thing that you're doing. And I'm really I love that you have branched into educating people about something that you were already doing with the live scan and fingerprinting, Jeff, because when we continue to give back to our community, it's what makes this notary community the best thing it can possibly be, is when the notaries in the community are giving back to the notaries that are coming up behind them or that are around them. So I love that so much. I would lastly like to ask you if you could give one piece of advice to a new notary or any notaries that are watching today's video, what would it be?
Well, the first piece of advice is be open to learning fingerprinting, number one. I mean, always seek out knowledge. It doesn't need to be necessarily fingerprinting. Any revenue stream avenue you can look into it and see if it would fit for you. Not necessarily fingerprinting might not fit for everybody, just
Right.
like real estate didn't fit for me.
Mhm.
But be open to learning. I mean, that's what this profession is about,
Yeah.
essentially. You're always able to learn something new, and not necessarily something that's going to bring you money. It could be just knowledge, learning
Right.
something about a document that you've never heard of before that does some specific thing, and you're like, "Whoa, I never knew that," or what, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah. Yeah. That's great advice. That's great advice. Thank you so much for spending some time with me this afternoon, Jeff. I really appreciate you. And I'm excited to share this with other people. The people that watch my YouTube video specifically that don't know about fingerprinting, I'm really glad to have you as a resource for them, because you're right. I encourage education. I think education in anything is important. And this one can actually earn you more money. So thanks for sharing it.
yeah, you're welcome.
All right. You can have a good time. Good day. Jeff,
Okay,
see you later.
thanks. Bye.
Bye. I hope you enjoyed that interview with Jeff and hearing about his journey to become a live scan, not just operator, but instructor. I hope that you will also check out his classes, check out the Notary Family. All of that will be in the description down below. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.